Hi, I hope you're getting ready for the new year. This is the PC Expert Amateur, and there's a reason I put amateur on the end because I didn't want people to really think that, oh, he's an amateur expert, he knows everything. I don't know everything. And it's really hard for anyone in the field of IT to know everything. Do you know why? Because even if you've spent your entire life in IT is constantly expanding and changing. Products come and go, services come and go, and it's always in flux. There is no way that any human being, short of somebody who has the ability to remember everything, which there aren't very many of us, um, is going to be able to remember all the information, let alone understand it all. So, yeah, I'm not saying I'm anywhere close to that. I am not expert level. That's why I have amateur at the end. I'm not really an expert. I'm not really an amateur. I'm in the middle, and I'm always trying to learn more about what I'm talking about. So, I help out at some of the forums, mostly Linus Tech Tips forum. It's very active, but my focus is Bleeping Computer because Bleeping Computer has got some great people on there that are providing support for hardware, for software, for even for malware removal at no charge. And they also have great security information. They've got a lot of sources of information for the security news that they provide. And if you want to learn how to remove malware remotely, they even have a program where you can join that and become a volunteer and learn how to do it and get practice and get good at it. And then you can apply that to in-person malware removal as well. So it's and in-person is easier because you're right there with the computer you're trying to fix. But there are some complications that happen when you're doing that. You have to be careful not to infect your own equipment by accident. All right, so please visit bleepingcomputer.com. Show them your support and participate. Start discussions about the stuff that I'm working on this channel, because Lawrence Abrams, the owner of Bleeping Computer, has given me permission to do what most people can't do, which is posting links to videos and stuff like that on this channel. And in return, I tell people about Bleeping Computers. Now, if you are interested in learning about security in a video format instead of a written format, I highly recommend Jack Resider's Darknet Diaries on YouTube and Apple, and also on its own website, darknetdiaries.com. You can learn a lot. I mean, it's not going to do like a deep dive into the technical stuff, but it's really helped me to better understand. I've kind of always had an understanding, because very early on in my life on computers, I learned the hard way about some of the things that hackers do. And I mean, I had, anyways, I won't get into it. We're going to look at the Noctua NF P12 Redux 1700 PWM fan. Now, this is normally sold for about $16. I got it as an open box. I guess somebody decided they didn't want this fan. I don't know why, because based on the specifications for this fan, it's actually better than for use on like a radiator or case or air cooler. It's actually better than the A12 by 25. We'll see. But the specifications are pretty promising. One of the reasons that this is so much less expensive, almost half the price normally than the original NFA 12 by 25 and the other Noctua products, is they don't include all the extra stuff that most people don't actually need all of. Like the low noise adapter, the extension cable, the splitter cable, the silicone pins, the silicone corner cushions. It doesn't have any of that stuff. It just comes with 4 screws. But yeah, it's I got mine for $3 off. So I think that's a worthwhile price for something as good as Noctua. And given the number of complaints I've heard or seen online from people saying, "Oh, Noctua is overpriced and why is it so expensive?" Well, the Redux, I think, is a response to that constant refrain of complaints where they've tried to maintain the quality level, even though this is using the SSO bearing rather than the SSO2 bearing. And it's got a redesigned frame, and it's got actually better fins theoretically on it, or blades on it, than the standard fans that they've got, because it's got these teeth. I'll show you in a second. He's got these teeth on the ends of the blades that are designed to disrupt the turbulence that's caused by the blades to even out the pressure, the sound more. So there are going to be not well, we'll hear. Anyways, it came in this box. It's a no frills. But it's still, it's still a very sturdy box, but it's a no frills solution for people who want a fan from Noctua but don't want all the extra gimmicks that come in the box, and they want the quality without the high price. And I think Noctua is very smart to do this. And it has a sleeved cable, PWM connector, and now you can see those teeth, I guess you could say, on the blades ends. And yeah, those are supposed to help break up the vortices caused by the blade, so that the wind doesn't create these higher or more specific pitches, I guess you could say. And I'm really curious about this. This is my first time actually experimenting with one of the Redux products. I'm looking forward to it, though, and I hope you are too, because we're going head-to-head in A12x25 versus the Redux 17. Now, I should mention, this has got a weakness that the A12x25 doesn't have. So if we look at the specifications, this does not produce as much airflow, but it has better static pressure. Now that should be for the regular NFB12 as well. So the A12x25 gives you a better of both. So it's less static pressure, more airflow. But if you compare it to the F12, then that one's going to have better airflow and worse static pressure. So it's in the middle between the two. So it's a dual purpose fan, really. But this one is something that is adequate for a radiator, depending on which radiator you're using. Whereas the A12x25 just isn't. It's just too weak. All right, I'm actually turning it down. Once I got started, I wanted to hear it at a lower speed. Don't stop. So it starts at 5 volts, I believe it is. And I dropped it down below that 5 volts. I'm dropping it some more. Yep, there we go. So it's really, really quiet. There is a low hum, though. I wonder if these teeth on the edges of the blades were inspired by Dr. Frank Fish's research into the tubercles on the fins and snouts of certain whales, or if this is just because of efforts that have been used in the industry for quite some time now. Definitely has a lower pitch than the A12x25, but it's pretty loud. Woo! All right. Now, I'm wondering about the distribution of. I don't really feel a lot of pressure coming out of this. It doesn't feel. I mean, up here it does. Down here it does. So it's conical, unlike the what was that? The that Evercool that Star Trek was selling. This one has a flow that's more conical in shape, so that's kind of a disappointment. And I am kind of questioning the 2.83 static pressure because I can only really feel it about this far away. But let's go ahead and do the sound comparison with the A12x25. A little bit nervous. My finger is still causing problems. On the right side, my blood sugar is normal. Okay, so I'm going to slow this one down. Oh, no, it doesn't want to slow down. Okay, it's already at the minimum. It can't be backed off like the Redux can, as far as like slowing down the speed. Right there, they're at the same pitch. But now we're going to hear the A12x25 climb up and higher. So, one of the problems with the way we perceive sound is we don't perceive it as equal volume only. We also perceive it based on pitch. So we hear higher pitched sounds more easily than lower pitched ones. So this makes the A12x25 sound louder than it actually is. But I would say it's a pretty close race between the two fans. Now, I'm going to turn off that one. And just to demonstrate what I was talking about with the pressure, and that's the SSO2. It is not as good as the that's the SSO. It's not as good as the SSO2 because the SSO2 can go for like 16 seconds before it stops spinning after you turn it off. So this one has also got a conical shape, but I can feel it farther away. So I'm a little bit confused about the supposed static pressure of these two fans. But if you want a fan that has a lower noise profile or a more even noise profile than the A12x25, that's going to be a good choice, actually. No, I'm cold. Whew. Just made my hand all cold. Okay. So really interesting how the teeth on this fan have managed to alter the sound profile. I wish I had the regular P12 as well as this one so I could do a side-by-side comparison to see what other differences we might notice. But hey, you know, if you guys can help me to support my channel so that I can afford to make other purchases, and I just put in a purchase request for a bunch of coolers and one or two fans, which is something I probably shouldn't have done. Financially, it's not a good idea, but I just couldn't resist. I saw a couple of good deals and a couple of others that I was interested in having for future research. Yeah, $260-some. Oops. Got to keep myself away from looking at the sales on Newegg. Since I'm currently boycotting Amazon, I'm spending more money than it would be. I'm hoping Amazon will see the light, but so far I'm not hopeful because I approached the director of my site, who's above the general manager, and she said, "I'll talk to you on Wednesday or Thursday," and that was this past Wednesday, Thursday, and nothing. She promised to meet me, nothing. So that, you know, gives me a bad feeling. Anyways, would you please like, subscribe, and share? Not just so I can recoup the several $1,000s I've invested into this, but also so that I can continue to buy more things to review and get better equipment and eventually get some people who are more qualified than me to help me in certain areas, like the stuff that's really technical that I don't really want to spend the time to learn to do about, like motherboards and graphics cards and SSDs and stuff. I mean, it's hard for me to find the time to do all this stuff. I'm doing all this stuff right now because of the holidays, the time off that Amazon is giving all of us with 1 day of pay. But yeah, if you can help me, that would really be super appreciated. So let's move on to the data now. Okay, so the Noctua NF-P12 Redux 1700 RPM or NF-P12 Redux-17. And it's light gray frame and a medium gray blades. It should be $16.99 or so $17. I paid $13, so I got $4 off just because it was an open box at Micro Center. I like going to Micro Center for the open box stuff, but I really have been careless sometimes. I have picked up stuff that I thought was complete because the sticker said it was complete. But see, the problem is they don't reseal it once they check it and make sure it's complete. So a couple of times I've picked up stuff that somebody came in and stole parts out of it. And there have been times when I've gone there and there were boxes that were completely empty where people just robbed them. And that's not good because, then everybody loses. Except for the thieves, and hopefully they end up going to jail because they're screwing everybody else. Anyways, certifications, CE, ROHS, and UKCA. Made in China, 120 by 25, over 150,000 hours of life, 6-year warranty, just like the regular ones. 160 grams versus the 200 of the A12 by 25. So they have the same warranty, the same lifespan, same size. The other difference is this one is made in China. Yeah. So the A12 by 25 is made in Taiwan. I kind of feel concerned about that because there are some significant problems going on with China that are, it's kind of, imagine two titans going after each other and everybody else is underfoot and getting crushed. And that's kind of how I feel about us. Okay, so both have 9 blades, but the Redux has the teeth on the blades. A standard hold distance, 450 to 1700 RPMs versus 450 to 2000 RPMs. The variance, however, on the high end is 10%, on the low end is 20% maximum. And then airflow is 70.75 CFM or 120.2 CMH, 2.83 millimeters of water, which I am kind of doubtful about, versus the 2.34 of the A12 by 25. And it says 25.1 decibels versus 22.6. I do not believe that the 22.6 is correct. 40 centimeter long cable that is not daisy chained and is sleeved. PWM connector. The SSO bearing, which is good, but not as good as the SSO2. It has far more friction, I'm guessing, than the SSO2. Just a huge jump in technology from the one to the other. So if you can afford SSO2, that's going to make a difference. 12 volts. I don't know about the starting volts. I don't think it's listed here, but I'm going to assume that it is around 5 volts, even though Noctua did not state it. Power 0.95 watts, maximum of 1.08. So that actually is lower than the A12 by 25, which is 1.2 and 1.68 watts respectively. And the amps are also lower than the A12 by 22 at 0.08 versus 0.1 and 0.09 versus 0.14. And it does have the indicators for rotation and flow. It turns in a clockwise fashion. 4 screws, and that's all you get with it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.